the Harbir Singh podcast.
It's a huge honor for me to have AnuGym Sirikanta on the podcast today. He's a patient of mine and a huge inspiration to me, actually, and will be to you as well once you listen to this podcast. So definitely go and check him out. Before we go any further, please smash the thumbs up button. Make sure you share this with other people so that they can benefit from this content as well. And also don't forget to subscribe. So, bro, can you give us a bit of introduction into yourself, how you got into training?
Yeah, I'm currently 25. I've been training since I was 15, I'd say. That's just like casual training, like not really doing powerlifting, which is what I do. So 15, I sort of started just going gym casually, and then meeting people throughout like my training. They kind of inspired me to like become a powerlifter because of like the way I've trained and stuff, and the way I'd say like I've always been kind of strong even from a young age. Like when I was 15, I remember I started off like with bench press. Like I started off with like struggling on the bar, and then within months I was benching like 100 at like 15 years old, which is they'd say that's pretty impressive. So that kind of got me into it, and then I met a friend that was a lot older than me, but he was doing powerlifting, and he kind of got me into the whole powerlifting thing and training and competing.
That's amazing. So 100 kilograms at 15 years old, that's definitely a gift. And what I find remarkable is some of the people I've interviewed, they've always been really good. Like the first time they deadlifted, or the first time they did something, they were really good. But you said you struggled the first time you tried to bench, right?
Yeah, I was struggling. Like I found some old videos like recently, and like I was looking back at them a couple months ago, and like I was literally struggling on doing the bar, and like you know how like when you first start, like it's all like wobbly and like you're not doing it properly either. Like I remember seeing that, I was just like thinking that's kind of bad the way I was doing it, but yeah.
So how did you refine your technique? Because obviously the level that you're at now, you probably can't just get there with a natural gift. You've obviously grafted, and your technique's probably on point. So was that coaching from your friend, or did you look online, or did you have other coaching?
It was like it kind of progressed over the years. I'm still learning like different things even now. Like at the start, I'd just be watching a YouTube video, see how other people are benching, how other people are lifting, like their form, stuff like that. And just by looking at that, I kind of like changed my technique, and it was better, yeah, but like it still wasn't perfect, I'd say. And like as like from talking to people, like they tell me to change one thing, and then other people would tell me to change this and that, and then so I listen, and like I just experiment with things, and yeah, I finally think I found like what works for me. But even my coach now is telling me to change little things to make it even better. So yeah.
I guess there's two things that come to mind there. One is coachability. Like there's some people who can take on feedback, and they can try and take that on board. And those people obviously like do really well. It's a great character trait to have. And then the other aspect is within the South Asian community, and within a community, there's probably always people at the gym who are like, oh yeah, when I was your age, I used to bench a truck, and your finger needs to be over here, and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, a lot of people come to mind when you say that, yeah. But no, like obviously, I get people like that, and I still listen to them, but I know like in my head, like that's not really the correct way.
yeah,
But like I'd see a lot of people tell me like not to arch my back and stuff like that, and like how it's gonna mess up my back and how it's gonna cause this and that problem. But I know like I still listen, but I know like it's sort of wrong. Like there's a reason why I do it, and it like it's just safer for the shoulders, and like you can just use more of your back and stuff when you do it. But
Yeah, and plus it's your sport, right? Like who
yeah,
powerlifts with a flat back on the
yeah,
bench press? It's just
yeah, yeah.
um so you were going for a world record attempt, right?
Yeah, I've actually been chasing it for a while now. Like, um, yeah, I've been chasing it for 3, 4 years, and like I'd say I got somewhat close, but then lockdown just completely like destroyed my training for 2 years. So like because of that, I didn't really have access to any equipment. I didn't have any like equipment at home or like a friend's gym that I could have gone to
Hmm.
or anything like that. So I was sort of when the first lockdown came about, I think it was 6 or 7 months where I wasn't really doing anything. And then they opened up gyms again, and but that lasted like 4 weeks, and then they closed it, and they opened it up, and they closed it again, and they opened it up. Like it just really just messed up like the flow.
Hmm.
Ever since then, I've been sort of like struggling. Even now, I'm kind of like struggling to get my rhythm back. Um, I'm nowhere near like hitting the numbers I used to hit, and yeah,
I think it's hard with your sport because it's very progressive. It's you're having adaptation over a long period of time, and then
yeah,
if you're having a forced break like that for such a long period of time, it's a bit disheartening of a situation because it's
yeah.
out of your hands really. It's like if you don't, you know.
Funnily enough, like the first lockdown, I think that was the longest in it. But when I came back to the gym after that, like within 2 weeks, I feel like I was getting my strength back. I was getting my groove back. But then, like it's literally the last lockdown. I don't know what happened. The last
Hmm.
lockdown was I just couldn't come back to gym. Like I picked up so many like little niggles and stuff, and that it's just annoying. Really. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. So what does that look like? Training for like a world record? Is that is it similar to training for a powerlifting competition or is it like a 3 day split or are you training every day? Like do you do a lot of accessory work around the bench press? What does your training look like?
Yeah, so I don't think anything's like changed. Like if I was just powerlifting as like a normal person and trying to go for a record, it's still I think I'm still doing the same thing. It's just the record thing is just in the back of my mind. Like I want to get it eventually, and that's something I'm just going for. But currently I'm doing like I used to do 6 days a week, but now I'm doing like 4 days, but like they're a bit like longer, bigger sessions. So they kind of cover what I would have done in 6 weeks, 6 days, anyways.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so I'm doing 4 days. It's just I'm working and stuff now, so it's hard for me to do 6 days.
So when you were doing 6 days and you were aiming for that world record,
Yeah,
what do those 6 days like? Are you benching all of those 6 days? How does it
no,
work?
it, like I said, I'm training for powerlifting, and I'm doing the world record thing on the side, like in the back of my head. So so when I was doing 6 days, I was benching like 3 times a week. I can't really bench more than that, to be fair. I feel like I don't recover as much. My recovery is not the best. So I know a lot of powerlifters, they like to bench like 4 or 5 times a week, but I'm happy with like benching 2, 3 times. Just get longer rest, recover better.
Hmm.
Like if my diet and recovery were like better than what it is, then I'd probably say I'd like to bench more because I enjoy it as well. That's probably one of my favorite lifts. So I'd like to do it more, but yeah, it's just not sensible at the moment to do it more than 3 times a week.
Okay, so then 6 days kind of makes sense, right? Because you got 3 movements to work on, and then you got accessory movements as well.
Yeah.
So what kind of accessory work do you have to do around the bench press, or do you do any?
Yeah, so it's a lot of like it's a lot of like stuff that's related to the bench press. So like a lot of back, a lot of tricep, a lot of shoulders, and then there'll be stuff like mobility. Like you can work on your thoracic spine mobility, your hip mobility. All that will just help towards getting like a better bench press. Like if you work on your thoracic spine mobility, then you be able to arch better, arch more efficiently and whatnot. So yeah.
That's amazing. And I call you the Hulk, right? When I see you, I call you the Hulk. So you got a baggy jumper on, so people can't see what you look like. But I'll obviously add some pictures to give them an idea. So do you have like a special Hulk diet, or are you just naturally like that?
No, there's like a lot of people know this. Like my diet is terrible. Like especially during like uni times, I was really struggling, so I didn't really get the calories in. That's probably why I was getting like so many like little niggles and stuff. And that's why I was saying like my recovery is not the best, because the diet is obviously is really important, but it's just not there at the minute. Like I think I'm definitely improving now. Like I'm definitely trying to have 4 or 5 meals now, especially because I'm working and like my work is a bit labor-ish intensive. So like I'm trying to eat more just so I'm like always fueled up, sort of thing. But yeah, like uni times I was struggling. I was probably getting less than 2,000 calories a day, which is really bad.
Wow.
I was supposed to be getting like between 2,500 to 3,000. But yeah, I'd say at the moment I'm getting about 3,000 calories or 2,500-ish.
And you're working them off as well, because your work is manual, right? Do you track calories?
No, I don't track calories. I've tried to track calories. I always end up doing it for like a week and then giving up on tracking calories. It's just I feel like it's an added chore, and it's just
Yeah, I'm the same.
it's more like fun if you just do it in it. Like
Yeah. I think you need to be a certain kind of person to sit there and enter every single thing you put in your mouth onto an app.
yeah, exactly. And plus, like I still like obviously I live with my parents and stuff, so I still eat like my mom's like cooking and stuff, and like obviously I can't really
Yeah, same.
I'm a fitness fan and stuff like that. So yeah, so I just gave up really.
Yes, yeah, I have the same problem. I tried it once, like for a day or two, but when you're making roti or paronte, like Punjabi food, it's so variable how every family makes it. The constituents, like whether they're putting oil, how much oil they're putting in, all this kind of stuff. So it's not accurate. So it seems like a bit of a point through this exercise, but for some people it works. So good for them. So for like someone so big, you're not that heavy, right? You compete in, is it 80 kilogram category?
Yeah, 83. I used to be 74.
Wow.
Actually, I used to be I used to be 74, but I was actually under 70 kilos at one point.
Wow.
And I think like when I was 20 or 19, I was under 70 kilos, and then gradually I was increasing my weight, and I am now at around 81, 82 kilos at the moment. But my peak weight was like pushing 90 when like lockdown was there, and like, I was just eating and not really burning it off.
And the world record, what weight and category is it? So what weight do you have to be, and then what weight are you trying to lift?
What weight do I have to be? I have to be under 83, and I think it currently is like 218 or something like that. 218 or 219. It usually changes by point 0.5 like every couple of months. But yeah.
And you're regularly benching like 200 kilograms, right?
A bit less than that, but I used to, but not really anymore. I haven't really touched anything over 160 in a couple of months now. But before I was definitely hitting like 180 to 190 quite regularly.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just mind blowing. It's definitely, you definitely have a gift. And do you credit your physique to your training or genetics?
That's a hard one, you know. It's a bit of both, really. Like I feel like I'd say genetics because I feel like I don't train as hard as other people, but I still have like a decent bulkish like body. Like I see like a lot of people criticizing my diet, a lot of people criticizing my training. Like, I'm always like, you know, just like sort of chilled when I'm at the gym. Like I don't go as hard as I can, whereas other people are sort of banging it out and like they're not really making that progress.
Yeah.
So I'd say like
you're the kind of people that everyone else hates, right? People who look like they're relaxed and enjoying it, but they're making progress.
but yeah, like at the start I was definitely training hard. But no, sorry, at the start I was definitely not training hard, but I am training harder now with like a proper structure and like program. So yeah, I'm definitely making improvements now, but definitely before like I'd be the guy that was just like eating like chocolate and stuff in the gym. I was bringing like chips and stuff into the gym. Yeah, it's just, yeah, like.
And the plan that you're on, is that something you've worked on with your coach and your experience in terms of what works for you, or have you got that from somewhere?
I just let my coach program me. Like I just told him what I want to do, what I want to achieve, and then I just let him do everything to me.
And in terms of coaching, if someone wants to get into powerlifting or this type of like strength building, is there a place they can go to find a coach, or should they work off recommendation? What's the best way to get some guidance, or go to a PT?
I'm not really sure. I wouldn't really go to a personal trainer in the gym for powerlifting because I feel like they wouldn't know like the specifics of it. Whereas I found like coaches because I obviously I went to Loughborough. I was training at Loughborough, so like the gym there, I got to know quite a few people, and there was a lot of powerlifters there. So I just got recommendations really, and there was a lot of coaches there already that knew powerlifting. So I just found them through that. But I'd say like maybe Instagram and like word of mouth, I guess.
Okay. Are there any books or resources that you've found helpful related to training, mindset, recovery, anything?
Books and resources.
Or people that you follow?
There is a book that that's good for like recovery, like stretches and mobility and stuff like that. I've got the name though. I think
that's fine. You can message me. Which one? Sorry.
Supple Leopard.
Supple Leopard. Yep. Kelly Starrett's book.
Yeah, that one's a very useful book. I've borrowed that off of mate a few times. It's very useful. Yeah.
Awesome.
There's like stuff you can watch online, like YouTube. I follow quite a few like powerlifters channel, and like I watch their like daily life and like what they get up to and stuff, and it's quite inspiring as well. But
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. Any that come to mind?
powerlifters on YouTube, Russell Orhi, he's probably the main one, to be fair.
Okay. I'll add a link in the description if anyone wants to check that out as well. If you had to give one piece of advice to somebody young who it could be on anything, what would that one piece of advice be? A very general question.
Very general question. Not I don't really know about life, but in terms of gym, make sure you take your recovery seriously from a young age. That's what I'd say.
Yep. Nice. And where can people get in touch with you?
Instagram at AnuGym. Yeah.
Perfect.
ANUG.
I'll add all of that to the description. I really appreciate this. I know this is you haven't been interviewed like this before on camera and stuff. So I appreciate you giving us the blessing of being the first person to be able to do that. And let's get this out to as many people as possible so more people can know about you, follow you, support you in all that you're doing. And like I said, you've got a gift from God, and I'm confident that you'll be able to get that world record. You've got all the potential.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you inviting me on to this as well.